down at 2.5. 19 forward.
11 minutes. Roger. Tips RCS go. Roger. Your call out shortly.
3.5 down. 20 feet.
Standing by for low level.
13 forward. 11 forward, coming down nicely, 200 feet. 4.5 down. 5.5 down. 160 feet. 6.5 down. 5.5 down. 9 forward.
Low level. Low level. Low level.
Good. 20 feet. 100 feet. 3.5 down. 9 forward. 5%. 185. 75 feet. Guys looking good.
Stand
Down
by
a half.
for 60. Roger.
6 forward.
60 seconds.
60 seconds. Lights on. 6. Down 2.5. Forward. Forward.
Using a lot of RCS.
That's no pump.
Roger.
40 feet down 2.5. Picking up some dust. 30 feet, 2.5 down. Straight shadow.
Stand by for 30.
4 forward, drift into the right a little.
30 seconds. 30 seconds.
30 seconds. Forward, just. Good. Okay.
And I would have to go into that, trying to figure out what was going on. And it was the same thing. And so
Damn it. There we go. My mic sensitivity is too high. Hello, everyone, and welcome to my 4,000 subscribers celebration live stream. I can't thank everyone enough for the fact that I am here and doing this right now. This is awesome. I mean, it's been, just a little over a year, and 4,000 people are watching me. That's nuts. So today, what we're going to do here is we're basically just going to use this as an excuse to talk about some space stuff, talk about some interesting things that we've learned about the universe around us, thanks to flat earthers. Because that's kind of how this has gone for me, is I needed to learn a lot about the universe in order to counter all this stupid, and I kind of have them to thank for that. So, who do we have with us today? We have Mr. Dick Dawson. How are you today, sir?
Well, hello. Doing great. And yourself, Mr. Kevin, on this glorious occasion. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. I'm feeling pretty good right now. It's hard not to.
Excellent. I'm sorry. I'm going to let the cat out of the bag right now. We have to come clean. Kevin Kennedy is actually a sock account for Dubay this whole time. You're all a bunch of fucking suckers, and you've been had. It's been a blast.
Fell for it. This is actually Eric Dubay, author of 200 Proofs the Earth is Not a Spinning Ball.
It explains everything. Yeah.
You see, and I want to thank George, the guy who's been stepping in to be the face for Kevin when he goes live on camera. That was well done. Loved the effects on how you put the lips over and made it look like it was really you. Well done. But yeah, this is really Eric Dubay, and see, there's 33 watching right now, so there's your proof. Done.
That's awesome. Oh, that's awesome. All right, well, we also have Ilya Moon with us today. How are you today?
Hey, I'm good. I'm so happy for you. This is great. And I just want to say a little something.
Go ahead.
You have become like the little brother that I never knew I needed and sometimes really don't want. But I really love you. You're one of my best friends. And I'm so, so proud of you and so honored to call you friend. So, congratulations.
Oh, well, thank you very much. I really appreciate that.
Absolutely.
It's been an interesting road. It's gone through a lot of different ups and downs, and like Dick, do you remember when just debunking flat Earth was enough?
Yeah,
that was all we did, and there was enough content there.
Yeah. Now it's, well, would part of it be that you get sick of explaining the same thing over and over? So you're looking for something not so much different to debunk, but that gives you something to dig into and therefore debunk. Like it
Right.
is motivatingly driven, isn't it?
Absolutely. But I mean, it's like my motivations ran parallel to the audience, it seems. Like by the time I was getting sick of Flat Earth, so was the audience. And they were like, man, there's other stupid stuff out there you could look into.
Yes, very much, very much. I notice we're finding it more and more too, which is very exciting. It's it gives you something to look forward to, because you know, as you take on new areas of conversation and discussion, you're going to have new areas of research and growth.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
Right.
And like we've already seen that you learn all kinds of transferable skills through it. Like, who was it who pointed it out? When we covered Anti-Ordinary's video, and Chesh was noticing that we're basically doing the same things we always do. We were just applying it to a different subject.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly. It was still debunking stupid. It was just a whole new different version of stupid. It was excruciating, but it was still debunkable, you know?
Very painful to go through that process.
Yes.
There are some super chats. Do you want me to get to those for you?
I saw those. Sure, if you want to.
Okay. Eric Hare for 10 American. Keep going, bro. Doing great.
Thank
And
you.
then Lou Earthing for 5 American. You are welcome for single-handedly getting you to 4K. I will accept my reward in a wrench.
Well, I wasn't aware you didn't have a wrench already, Blue, so now you've got one. Thanks a lot, buddy. I appreciate that. Oh, that's awesome. Oh, and I should say, the on the right side of the stream here, this artwork is from Myra Vegeta. She considers herself my pet Super Saiyan, and helps me yeet flat earthers into the sun. And she drew this wonderful piece of artwork and also made it transparent so it'll look nice on the stream. So if you want to see more work from her, on Twitter, it's at 82jpanda is her Twitter handle. I'll put it in the chat in a moment here. But she's a really talented artist.
I love Mariah. She's awesome.
She is.
I see a little Ranma 1/2 in the style a little bit. It's got a classic hit to it. I like it very much.
Oh yeah, I love it. It's great. Okay, so let's see here. So we were going to use this as an excuse to talk about space, right?
Sure.
The final frontier. These are the voyages of the starship Flurfa-Prize. Your 5-year mission: find the dumbest fuck you can and destroy.
If that was on the spot, that was pretty good.
It was.
But no, Ilya likes asking me questions about space because I just like I've recently, more than anything, gotten into a lot of stellar evolution, and just the life cycle of stars is one of the most fascinating things to me. So we've been talking about that a lot. So Ilya, any questions you want to know about?
I have a lot of questions.
Oh boy.
So, explain to me, if you can, what the next space race is all about.
Okay, well, it's kind of a misnomer. I feel like I'm going to say that a lot on this stream. But it's kind of a misnomer because nobody's really racing. Like, the first space race in the 60s during the Apollo program, it was very much a race because it was who's going to get there first, Russia or the U.S. But this time around, we've got the U.S., we've got China, we've got Japan, and we've got private companies all working more or less together and not really, no one's trying to get back to the moon first, it seems.
Yeah, so you don't have a political, ideological driven nature to the race. And as such, now we have sharing and progress on a much greater scale.
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel like a large part of it we kind of have to thank Elon Musk for. Like, just the fact that there's this billionaire who's just like, I like space. Let me throw money at space until it gets cool.
Very much. What's his name there? Mr. Virgin, a little bit as well. But he's more like the guy that comes along and gives you some money to throw his name on something. And then after a couple of years, he's bored and he moves on. Musk is more of a long hauler.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I don't see him coming away from SpaceX anytime soon.
No, definitely not.
So it is it's not a race, but it is basically the same thing as the 60s happening again, just not in this competitive environment. So
yeah. And I think private industry knows that the governments involved as well will not let like the surface of the moon become the Wild West free-for-all grab bag nature. And as such, there's no point in trying to be the absolute first, because it's not like you're going to be putting up fences, right?
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Where's Wally puts in the chat, Bezos versus Musk, the ultimate showdown.
Good one. Yeah, good one.
Oh, and
That's really good.
And there was a super chat there, Electrom for 26. Don't have much, but here's some. Keep smashing FE. Thank you very much, man. I really appreciate that.
Good shout. Love it. Nice. You mentioned evolution of stars there. One thing that I find really interesting in that discussion going on right now, guys, is the fact that we've taken the heavier metals, so to speak, elements away from the supernova and gone towards the colliding neutron stars, because the models are giving us the true forces needed to get us to that level of fusion. And that's pretty wicked stuff. The people we argue with all the time go on about how models mean nothing, but without them, you know nothing. It's so hilarious that the models are working so well for us, and they just deny. I mean, come on.
Oh yeah, they'll fall back on that like reification fallacy thing. But the problem is, I don't think science teaches that a model is reality. It just says, here's a model, we use it to help understand the world, here's how it relates to reality, here's what we can predict with it. But at no point does it say this model is reality.
Right.
So I don't care for that at all. But you were saying
Boole.
What
Boole says models are sexy. Damn right, buddy.
Well, it depends on the model if you want to be real.
Models of all shapes.
Yeah. It's
and genders.
It's lovely, the fact that we have the computational power to do the equation, to set the equations up inside of the simulator, so to speak, so that you can actually model the collision of neutron stars and go, hey, now we found gold. There we go. That's amazing stuff.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, stellar remnants on their own. I could talk about them for days. Like,
yeah,
neutron stars, black holes, all of the end of life part of stars I find really interesting. Spoilers: Ted Kennedy in space is Kevin Spacey. God, I hope not.
I hope not too. That's a little scary. Yeah. Who am I talking to?
What?
Who am I talking to? Are you Kevin Spacey or?
No, truth was already said. It's Eric Dubé.
Dubé, that's right.
Yeah, the game's up. We can let it out.
Some rhymes for us today.
Oh God, I forgot Eric Dubé is a quote unquote rapper. Spit some hot fire about Hitler.
Oh, that was horrific. That was unbelievable.
Please don't.
So bad.
It was like somebody misusing a speak and spell in the most horrific way. Right?
So horrible. So horrible.
Violating it.
On the subject of stars, Ilya, you asked me once about Jupiter and whether or not it's a failed star, and
I did. Yeah.
I wasn't really able to answer properly at the time.
Yeah. So my question was, because I hear it said sometimes that Jupiter is a failed but not failed star. Mm-hmm. So I was looking to see if you could expand on that for me, please.
Absolutely. Okay. So basically, it is a failed star, but it isn't, because realistically, any celestial body could be a failed star, because all it takes to become a star is significant mass. Because once you get enough mass together, you end up with the materials and the forces necessary for thermonuclear fusion, which is how you get a star. But prior to that, you get things like brown dwarfs, which are substellar objects. They're not quite massive enough to be a star, but they're too massive to be a gas giant. And then the gas giant is the next level below that. So on a scale, like working up to star, it's basically gas giant, brown dwarf, star.
Yeah. If the stellar cloud that had created the solar system had been sufficiently massive enough, Jupiter probably would be the second star in a binary system, but it just didn't happen, right?
Yeah, and I think that's a popular theory because most solar systems have more than one star. We're actually something of a rarity in that there's only one star in our solar system. Right.
You know the Nemesis theory, the star that has the unbelievably like way worse than Pluto orbit. There's an astronomer who totally pushes this, and I think he has it set at a rotation of 26 or 7 or orbital rotate damn it. And but every like 26 or 7 million years, and he's saying that's the cause of extinctions that happen every so often, like clockwork. And this star comes through, and it comes through the Oort cloud and comes through the Kuiper belt, and it's just dragging hellfire of crap behind it. Right? That's his. Yeah, I saw it on an episode of How the Universe Works, and I think it was also covered a little bit on Through the Wormhole. But if it was a brown dwarf, and so it still has some serious mass and gravity, therefore to be dragging stuff around and become like a nemesis, it would be virtually impossible to spot if it was way out on the bad or the far side of its orbit. I mean, right? Yeah,
that's interesting because we always think about like most people know that Andromeda and the Milky Way are supposed to collide sometime in the distant future, and we always think of that as this big cataclysmic event, which if you were looking at it from Earth, you might not really see anything going on a day-to-day basis because space is 99% nothing.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like in sci-fi when they go for the asteroid belt, and it's like all Star Wars style, and you have to really be careful. You can send probes through the asteroid belt just by simply shooting them there, because the odds of them hitting anything are so astronomically low. It's not funny.
Yeah, right? Like in Star Wars, they're like the asteroids are bouncing off each other, and in reality, they're like 100 million kilometers apart.
Yeah. Star Wars style is more like a freshly blown up planetary body or something, right? Then you would have them that close together.
Or even a ring system. That might make sense.
There you go. Yeah. Good one.
Can I read something from the chat real quick? That's just really funny. I want to address.
Yeah.
Sarcastic Barman, if Jupiter and Neptune hit each other, what would happen? And Punchy's response is, it would probably scare the shit out of Uranus.
No, yeah, if they came together, that would be, what's it called when a couple of people accidentally touch butts in a locker room, full moon, or what is that?
Yeah, it's something like that. A moon landing?
Yeah, I think somebody's going to know.
Moon landing, yeah, Punchy said moon landing.
Yeah, moon landing, okay, yeah. So that would be the solar system's moon landing, right?
All the natural satellites get embarrassed.
Well, speaking of which, did you guys read Earth has a new micromoon as of like unbelievably recently, just discovered? Yeah.
I did. Yeah, that's really cool. I read about it.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Yeah, it was just announced like yesterday in one of my space tech news feeds that I.
How did I know that and you didn't?
I don't know. I got out my game. So wait, so a micromoon.
Come on, Eric, keep up.
A micromoon, like what are we talking about? Like an asteroid-sized type thing?
Yeah. Now that we bring it up, I'm lost for the size. I'm sure it was put in the article, and I'm just too stupid to remember. But we're pretty small, not satellite style, but pretty small.
Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty small. Yeah.
1 meter to car sized. Oh, it's only 1 meter across. Okay. Wow.
Oh, okay. Cool.
So-
won't be there until April.
Hearing about that reminds me of the fact that I heard about something else that you didn't know about and I told you about, which is the story of the satellite that did spread ashes on the moon.
Right. Yeah, that there's one person currently buried on the moon.
That's incredibly cool. Wow.
Isn't it? I'm gonna grab this super chat quickly. Oh darn, foreign names. I'm just gonna.
I wish Amy was here.
Phonetically. I'm just gonna say it phonetically. Jens van Brockhoven. I'm sorry. I'm not good with
Brockhoven,
but for €5, said congrats with 4K. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. And I'm sorry I'm bad at saying your name.
yeah, we need Amy right now. She's amazing at that. I don't understand it. It drives me nuts. She just, every time she gets it, and I'm just like, oh, I would have said that wrong. Oh, I would have fucked that one up too.
Well, some of them are surprisingly easy. Like Russian names, for instance. They look super complicated, but they are purely phonetic. Like,
right.
I think the one that really taught me that was when I read Crime and Punishment, I think it was, because that has a character named Svidrigailov, and that's a hell of a name, but you look at it written down, and it's literally that, Svidrigailov.
Oh.
It's really easy once you know that they're purely phonetic to figure out Russian names. That wasn't a Russian name, though. But, so, Eugene Shoemaker is the only human being buried on the moon. He was considered kind of a founding father of astrogeology, and he trained astronauts. He founded a whole new science. He did all kinds of amazing stuff. And what they did was they put him on, when he passed away, they put his ashes on, I'm trying to find the name of the satellite, the Lunar Prospector probe. It impacted the moon's surface, carrying his ashes, so he's now up on the moon, and he gets to stay there.
Yep.
Ah. Very cool. Very cool.
That was an interesting find, and I shared it with Dead Kennedy, and it was just something really cool. So he started looking into it, and we decided that it would be a really good topic to talk about here. So,
yeah.
Well, Randall Scott in the chat has a follow-up here. Some of Clyde Tombaugh's ashes are on New Horizons. They'll be the first remains to leave the solar system.
Oh, wow.
Very cool.
That's
wow.
Awesome. That's
well,
really cool.
That's my dying wish, everybody in the chat. So if my time comes, everybody needs to pull their money together and send me to the moon.
Jeez, you need a pretty heavy one too.
Yeah. So Pie Parrot for 2 European pounds or British pounds, whatever. Congratulations on 4K, Kevin. Keep up the good work.
Thanks very much. Really appreciate that. I'm sorry that the stream isn't 4K and 60 FPS. I can't do anything about that. Well, you retracted the message. You've been complaining about it all stream.
I was just looking for it, and I was like, where? What? Yeah, but I mean, even if this was in 4K, it's static pictures and a little bit of text. And I mean, what are you going to get? It doesn't matter. I mean, I know that we all want to use our gear to the fullest of its ability. I'm a tech support guy, and I geek out as hard as anybody. But the reality is, I mean, this could be in 480p, and it's going to look fine.
Yeah, that's something that always cracks me up about like flat earthers were pissed off that there was no video footage of InSight landing, and it's because InSight is basically a seismology tool. It's going to be used to learn about the interior of Mars. So there's not really any point in having a camera on it. And they're all like, no, we should have 4K live streams of Mars all the time now. And I'm like, why? You realize it would be a still image, right?
Yeah.
There's no mice running around in the fields. There's no like plants being blown by wind. It's just rocks.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, sure. Okay. If you guys want, okay, we're going to do it. Fine. You pony up the cash for the launch, the gear, the stream, and, keep in mind that you've got to have people monitoring 24/7. So we're going to need a whole bunch of you punk ass dumb fucks to volunteer. And, Oh, really? Okay. Well, we'll just go with the seismology then. Okay. Yeah. Thanks. Fuck.
Yeah, and I don't think they really understand how difficult it is to maintain communication with something that's 200 million kilometers away. Because Mars is very far away, and it's going through its own orbit as we're going through ours. There's going to be points where whatever we're trying to communicate with is just on the other side of the planet, and we don't have infrastructure over there to be able to contact it.
Yeah. It's not like whales from last night that had line of sight lasers in the water or whatever the hell that was, or the night there. But then again, talking to people who think that the planets aren't real and they're stuck to a snow globe that God shakes up every now and then to give us winter. I mean, I don't know.
It's so weirdly restrictive, their belief system. Like Nathan Oakley said it best when he was interviewed by Vice, and he didn't realize they were making fun of him the whole time.
Yeah.
They said something like, does it matter if the Earth is flat? And he goes, well, yes, it does. If the Earth is flat, then there's no other planets beyond us. There's nothing else. It's just us. And I'm sitting there going, yeah, you're right. And that sucks. Screw that world.
Yeah. No doubt. No doubt. I understand that we've got conspiracy driven people and that their natural tendency is to always, disbelieve anybody in authority and stuff, right? So I understand how you can have some people that can get to somewhat of a silly level over things. But to get to that angry Daniel Pratt version of a flat earther who just closes themselves down to anything to the point where they truly believe that, we're secretly being paid to shut them down and whatnot. How does that fucking happen? How does this person function enough in life to be alive, to use their phone, to make these fucking videos and be lost in that at the same time? Where does that split come from? Is there like a Jekyll and Hyde? So when he goes inside, he actually becomes smart enough to use an oven. But when he goes into that fucking garage and sits in front of that goddamn water tower thing, water heater, he instantly becomes one of the dumbest human beings alive. How does it work?
So maybe we're being horribly cruel to Daniel Pratt here. Maybe there's some kind of horrible gas leak in his garage that he doesn't know about. So every time he goes in there, he gets high and stupid. And then he comes back out and he's a normal husband and father and stuff.
Should we organize an intervention?
Yeah. Maybe
bring an engineer.
His wife's already caught on, right? The wife's already caught on, and she always says to the kids, "Okay, leave Daddy alone for 30 minutes when he comes out of the garage. You remember he's not right yet.
He needs to come down."
That would make more sense.
Oh man.
Oh jeez.
Too funny.
Oh, we got another super chat here from Yaroon. Thank you very much. 10, that's euros, right?
Yes, it is.
10 euros. You said, congrats, have a beer on me. Thank you very much. I don't know if you know this, but a beer costs a lot less than 10 euros over here.
Yeah, that's an evening. That's an evening.
That's an evening, yeah.
At home, not at the pub, but still, it's an evening.
Amy said, yes, those are euros. Amy, I'm going to need you to type up a document with what each of the denominations are for each country and send it to me. Thank you.
It's another thing that she just seems to naturally know. I don't understand. What child sits around studying the monetary symbols of other nations?
Right.
But I will say, isn't there a way we could get around this just by saying, oh, and we got a $10 or no, you can't say dollar, 10. We got a $10 shout, or isn't there a way of getting around it?
I would do it just like that.
Yeah.
I mean, I would,
let me pull that one up. Right? What if you were to say, oh, and we got a lovely 10 shout from Yarun. Congratulations. Have a beer on me. Does that work?
Yeah, I think it works perfect. Amy, scratch that idea. We're good.
Oh, I don't know. Then it might get confusing because then, like with the exchange rate, like Kuyas is sending us 5,000 of his currency, which sounds like a lot, but
We could say, like Amy said, 10 monetary units for whatever country they're from. Here you go.
Yeah.
I mean, whatever's going to work.
Well, okay, we got to clarify something here because Mike Bertelson says, I don't know where you guys drink, but 10 euros is not an evening around here with a big smile. Well, yeah, but we're referring to more like grab a six-pack, head home, and that's the evening.
Mike,
in Canada, you
like a college student.
Yeah, in Canada, you're going to drag home an 8-pack of beer for 10 euro any day of the week, right?
Sure.
Oh, yeah.
Is six an evening?
Well, 6 is when you're on your own, and 8-pack is what you buy in case you got one of those neighbors that just always fucking shows up.
Oh, I knew someone was going to make a joke about this. You guys can't hear it, but on the stream, when I get a super chat now, you hear Fry from Futurama say, "Shut up and take my money."
Oh.
So Punchy just sent $5 Canadian and said, "Shut up and take my Monopoly money."
Shut up and take my money.
Canadian cash looks good. It's all colorful and nice. It's great.
I know.
Like it. Although I did see this like brutal burn moment once. It was on a Lamb of God live DVD where they were touring somewhere overseas. I don't remember, but they were talking about American money, and these people were saying, "Look at this! Look at how color coded all our money is. How do you guys know? Just to look at it, how do you guys know what money's what?" And the singer of Lamb of God goes, "Well, in school we do this thing called arithmetic."
That's great.
That's funny.
Well, shall we get back to some of the topics or questions that I have?
Sure.
Okay, so one thing that I would love to hear more about are the various stellar classifications.
Okay. While we're on that, someone just tagged me with a stellar evolution question. Is there a function that will take initial mass and time as input and output position on the HR diagram? That will take initial mass and time as an input and output position. Very good question. Very good question. He's referring to the what's it called, Hertzsprung-Russell classification system, which I'll pull up an image here, because that the main sequence stars O, B, A, F, G, K, and M. That's all part of the HS diagram. I don't know though. I'll admit my ignorance on that. I don't have an answer to that question. But so for main sequence stars, the letter that they are corresponds to the color, which corresponds to the temperature. So M class stars, which are the most common, they have some of the lowest temperatures of main sequence stars, so they appear red. And it transitions to yellow and eventually blue, with blue stars being the hottest stars, and our star being somewhere in the middle. Ours is a G class, a G2V star. Pardon me. But that's your main sequence stars. Those are stars that reach hydrogen fusion. They start out as a protostar in a nebula somewhere in a stellar nursery. They eventually gain enough mass. They get an accretion disk of matter around them, which will eventually be their solar system. Pardon me. And once they start nuclear fusion, they enter their main sequence. They become one of these, and then once they finish their main sequence, they will go into, depending on their mass, if they're a higher mass, they'll go into a hypergiant phase. If they're a lower mass, they go into a supergiant phase, which is what our star is going to do. It's going to expand. I think ours is going to expand to, we're not sure if it'll consume the Earth, but if it doesn't, it'll still destroy everything on Earth.
Yeah, we're getting roasted to the core if we don't get the full on, eaten like a fish and a whale. It's close. Speaking of which, though, what's his name? physicist. I can't remember his name offhand. It'll probably come to me, but he came up with a really good idea of capturing a nice, really big sized asteroid, very, very small type moon like a Phobos or whatever, and tossing it in a nice loop orbit that would just every time it goes around, pull the Earth back a tiny bit, and you could pretty much just keep up with the Earth's expansion.
Really?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, and he told it's not just a wild 10-minute I just thought of it on camera type thing. He came up with a proper, he modeled it up and everything, and yeah, it's really cool. I watched it. It was awesome. Him explaining it. They did it in bumper cars, and he had a magnet, and the Earth was a magnetic ball, and he just kept driving around in circles, kept pulling the ball like an inch each time, and it showed it perfectly. It was a great demonstration. Fun too.
I wonder if it was maybe Michio Kaku. Was it him?
No, but it was on. I saw it on How the Universe Works or The Universe, one of the shows that I've seen Michio on a few times and whatnot. Okay.
Maybe Brian Cox or someone like that.
No, a little famous. Yeah, he kind of looks like Chaos Theory from Jurassic Park. What's his name there? Except a little bit more honestly academic, nerdy but similar, tall, slim, sort of a leather jacket kind of guy, a little laid back and whatnot. Damn, I can't remember his name. It'll come to me. But
Google that later. Scientist who looks like Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah. I think he's pretty sure he's a physicist. It could be astrophysicist. He's one of those kind of guys, though.
Right. Interesting, though. That's a really interesting idea. I've got the episode.
I'll pick it up and send it over. I'll pick it out of the hard drive and send it over to you after. It's totally worth a watch.
But while we were talking about star classes, I should kind of finish off and say after they reach the hypergiant phase or supergiant phase, basically the star will reach a point where it has nothing left to burn, and a star is kept in constant.
Hey, Dick. I've lost Kevin's feed. I can't hear him.
Oh no, I do.
Yeah, I can't.
Hold on.
Weird.
Do you hear me now?
You don't hear him yet, Ilya? No?
Nope.
It's something on Ilya's side because I hear you fine.
That's weird.
I'll hang up and come back.
Yeah.
That.
Hopefully.
What could that even be? She lost one person in the meet?
I don't understand that at all. That has to be Google, right? There's no way you could send to me and not her through Meets. It's impossible.
I know. My voice is kind of low. I have to remember to keep. I have to remember to keep eating the mic. I'm sure it sounds good right now.
That's better. Yeah, for sure. Okay. Now we'll see how we're doing.
Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear now. Okay, cool.
Okay. All right. Continuation.
I know. Guys, I am literally less than 1 inch from the microphone. This thing sucks. But
we have to do that get together and do that stuff.
Yes.
We have to. We keep forgetting. Okay. Anyway, sorry. Keep going.
Voice meter set up. Yeah. So stellar evolution. So after the giant phase, because a star is basically constantly kept in a state of hydrostatic equilibrium. It's balanced between the force of gravity pushing all that mass in and all of the fusion pushing the mass out. It's constantly balanced. And when that stops, when it has nothing left to burn, the force of gravity takes over, and you end up with a stellar remnant, which will expel matter outwards, either in a planetary nebula or in a supernova. And pardon me. And you end up with either a white dwarf if it's a small star, or a neutron star if it's a larger mass star, or a black hole if it's really, really massive. But here's something I want you to kind of take note of. You see the way the poles of the star are spinning, and like the lines rotating. That is the star rotating. That's the second, like the core of the star. That's its rotational period. So every
cool.
time that goes
Yeah.
around, the whole star goes once. And here's the thing. That's a slow neutron star. Here is what a fast one looks like.
It's really, really spectacular, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I find neutron stars really interesting. And those are, by the way, taken from the game Elite Dangerous. I don't have footage of them myself, unfortunately.
Fake.
Fake
It's
CGI.
fake. Alternative facts over here.
Alternative facts. But yeah, that's basically the life of a star. Is it's born in a nebula. It mass keeps condensing until it becomes a star. It lives its life. It explodes out again, and all of that material once again comes together in different areas to make new stars.
Love it. One of my favorite things on the planet is to hear how the stars were made. I could listen to that story over and over and over and over and over again. And I know to a lot of people it's just a mumbo jumbo science stuff, but to me it's a beautiful story. So
I think so. There's a really nice kind of poetic nature to it.
yes. Yeah.
There's some nice poetic nature to some of the old creation type stories about the stars too. Like one of the Native American groups down around the Devil's Tower had a wicked story of how the Pleiades came to be. Yeah, there was 7 sisters out playing and dancing and stuff under the moonlight, and I think it was some bears come along and they chase them, and they find this rock that's not high enough to save them, so they pray to the rock for some help, and it grows to be the Devil's Tower, and then I think the maidens became the Pleiades, or am I mixing up the one with I could be mixing a couple up now because there's so many for the Pleiades, right? You know?
Yeah.
There's
yeah, because the Pleiades are interesting, right? Like one of the oldest artifacts in existence has a representation of it, the Needle Sky Disk.
You know, you got Orion chasing the maidens, right? And yeah, I could be mixing them up there. But yeah, I mean, you know, the Pleiades were used as an eye test. You know,
yeah.
I mean, it's always been a part of things that we're into, you know. Absolutely.
So what I think what you're talking about, so you did get a little mixed up. It's the 7 daughters of Atlas that turned into a group of stars in Greek mythology.
Oh.
Yeah, but there's also a story from Native American culture where there's 7 maidens that are running from like bears or something, and the rock turns into the Devil's Tower. But I can't remember the ending on how they become the Pleiades afterwards. Like I'm running out of gas on that, damn it. But I know the story. I've heard it. I'm just getting them mixed, and I can't figure out. But it is part of it's one of the it's a tribe or group or you know whatever I'm allowed to say these days that's hanging out around the Devil's Tower area. It's one of their creation stories.
Are you thinking of the 6 wives that fell in love with oh gosh, Agni? That's what it is.
No, I know that one too. No, that's different again.
Like how
there's so many different stories.
Everything we were talking
I know.
about fell apart as soon as we start talking about mythology. Like science, we could go on for hours and hours, and it's like people's made up stories. I can't remember.
Well, yeah,
I know. That's it.
Considering, I'm Native American. I've got a lot of Cherokee Indian in me. I know the Native American the Cherokee belief on Pleiades, but.
Right.
And I know Greek mythology because I've studied that, but I don't know some of the others. So,
yeah, Tyson told the story I'm trying to remember. Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Well, in most of these, it's that there were 7 sisters. The Pleiades are a group of the stars in the Taurus constellation.
Yeah, I would have to go back and watch to get the 100% of it, but
right.
I mean, over time I think I've heard at least 5 or 6 stories of ancient peoples in the Pleiades. Like everybody was into it, right?
There's Norse, Celtic, Bronze Age. There's Asian cosmologies. There's all kinds of different.
Oh yeah.
Oh, here, Chris. Chris says the story that I'm trying to remember comes from the Kiowas.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, he knows what I'm talking about then. So yeah,
Cool.
it's in there. I just can't get it right. I'll give up.
Well, there's just so many ways for it to, there's just so many different stories out there. So
Yeah, the point is the Pleiades has always been one of those things that has caught humanity's eye. Right?
correct. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I like what Tesla Ranger said. And God said, "Let there be light." Oh crap! I forgot I was supposed to make the Earth first. Oh well, I'll fix it first.
They're telling Tesla is telling the story for you in the chat.
Yeah, I'm just looking over here.
So let's see. Vishanti, you're absolutely allowed to shill /ebeg.
That's it.
The legend of the 7 Star Girls links the origin of the Pleiades to Devil's Tower. The 7 little girls were chased by bears and climbed a low rock. They begged the rock to save them, and it grew higher and higher until they were pushed up into the sky, and then they became the Pleiades.
There. So yeah, I was looking for an ending that I was looking for more to the story. I was just screwing them up, but that's the one I was trying to reference. Thank you very much, Tesla Ranger.
I hadn't heard that one.
Awesome.
That was a nice new one to hear. I hadn't heard that one.
Yeah, it's cool. It's
Yeah, that's really cool.
I like that one.
awesome. At least I'm not going insane. I like that.
You're not
too.
going insane. Well, not right now. You're not. So, in tradition of asking random questions. So last night on the stream, you asked it was the night before last. You asked what everybody's favorite dinosaur was.
Yeah.
So, what is your favorite moon?
My favorite moon would be the one of the Galilean moons, Europa, a moon of Jupiter. Not only because it looks really interesting, there's all these crazy red lines all over its icy surface, but because to this day, I am pretty convinced that there is life on Europa somewhere. We're fairly certain that its makeup is a frozen surface with liquid water underneath due to geothermal vents, which the nature of all that is all very similar to how life started on Earth. So I think there's a good chance that there's life on Europa, but the aliens told us that we can't land there.
Oh dear. Dick
funny.
Dawson, do you have a favorite moon?
Historically, when I was younger and whatnot, growing up, I would have instantly said Ganymede, due to science fiction references from a few classic tales and whatnot, for sure. But Enceladus is kicking a lot of butt, right?
Yeah.
That, I mean,
That one's pretty
and not
similar
just
to
the
Europa.
geysers, but the content, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that one has some pretty similar properties to Europa, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, very much so. And again, Europa for sure. But I think I'd still be. It would definitely come down to one of the 4 Galilean moons, absolutely, just because of the historical significance. I mean, it's the first thing I do with a new telescope, eyepiece, anything that I get for my telescope setup, right? First thing I do, it has to be.
Yeah, because they're so easy to see with a relatively cheap setup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got proof of gravitational orbits right there just by looking at Jupiter. What's yours, Ilya?
For sure. Titan.
Titan.
Yeah.
Saturn, moon of Titan.
Yeah. Out of our more than 150 known moons in the solar system, Titan is the only one with a substantial atmosphere.
Yeah.
And it is the only one besides Earth, or the only place besides Earth that is known to have liquids in the form of rivers, lakes, and seas on its surface.
Yeah.
And anyone who knows me knows that I am a water person. Drop me in the ocean, drop me in the lake, I would be happy. I love water. I'm a water dog for sure. So there's just something beautiful about that, knowing that there's rivers and lakes and seas on Titan that draws me to it. So it's definitely my favorite moon.
Wouldn't want to go swimming in that liquid.
No.
I'm not saying I would go swimming in it. I just am drawn to it because I love water so much.
Yeah.
And
Well,
it's
it was
also
Huygens.
beautiful. It's beautiful.
It was Huygens that gave us so much insight, right, Kevin?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I keep thinking of that meme when we first kind of started to find out about Titan's surface. There was a meme that went around of it was some kind of artwork of like a military looking bald eagle. It was like, America, the image, and it was something like so Titan has stores of oil on its surface. Sounds like Titan needs some freedom.
And that's Titan you have up there, right?
Yeah. The image on the left is with the atmosphere obscuring its surface, and then the left is without, or the right is without it.
Now tell me, how is that not beautiful to look at?
Oh yeah, that's gorgeous.
Yeah. And so it's the water that makes it so blue and so beautiful. And I just love Titan. My next tattoo is Titan. I'm
Nice.
getting Titan down my arm. So
I think we should correct that and say liquid, not water.
sorry, liquid.
Yeah.
It's
Liquid.
definitely not water.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, liquid, not water.
Yeah. Just because somebody's going to catch it one time listening back or something and be, wah, fucking wah. Like, it's,
Oh God, don't I know
Liquid methane.
there. Yeah. Yeah. Can you imagine you show up and you've got an oxygenated spacesuit? I'm not feeling too good about being here, guys. I want to rethink this. Beam me up. Fuck, I'm out of here. You're just a walking bomb, right?
Gosh, y'all are just ruining here my dream of Titan. Stop it.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Stop it. Let me live in this world where it's a beautiful place.
Like the movie was titled Reality Bites.
Oh my gosh, that's a movie I haven't seen since high school. Jesus.
Yeah. And somebody just referenced that in a chat recently, or maybe I did to them, but the song My Sharona came up, and it was either me or somebody else that said, wow, Reality Bites moment. Like, it's one of those. I think if you were to rewatch the movie, it would be horrible, but the references won't die.
No, definitely not. Like what Tusk in the chat said. Imagine how bad Titan would smell.
Oh no.
Oh man.
But
landing party shows up. All right, who's got gas? This is just rank.
There's been a guy farting the whole way over. Everyone's like, we can't open the door.
Yeah, exactly. You mean we were stuck in a space capsule for how many years trying to get here, and now we have to smell this?
Oh boy. Oh, and something Amy pointed out. I like this as well. She said, I love how Pluto and Charon dance around each other, and yeah, it's really cool if you take a look at the orbits of Pluto and Charon, because Charon literally pulls Pluto around in a circle with it.
That's my second favorite.
I think that's one of the reasons that that Pluto got demoted to dwarf planet, because it can't. It's not big enough to hold on to the orbit of its own moon properly.
Yeah, and it didn't clear out its own path, right? Like it's got obstacles.
Yeah, yeah.
Corona is my second favorite for sure, because of the fact that, to me, much like what Punchy said, it's the cosmic ballet. It's beautiful, and anything to do with the cosmos and ballet, I'm all about, because I was, a ballet dancer for 12 years, and that's how I look at space. It's a ballet. It's beautiful.
It is. It's all just a balance between like gravity and mass and different materials. That's all it is.
For sure. Love it.
Now, I'd like to bring something up.
Okay.
You know that damn animation where the solar system is careening through space like a corkscrew?
Yep.
Right? Now,
The one that we all
I'm
hate 'cause
no
flat earthers love to use it.
Yeah. I'm no cosmic expert, but with angular momentum and flat plane of rotation that pretty much holds true with cosmic bodies and whatnot, why has somebody taken the solar system and flipped it a good 90 degrees and sent it careening through? Why is it not flat?
Yeah, that's the part that doesn't make sense, is that the plane of the solar system doesn't exist in that animation. It's just things
That's
are just
right.
circling around the sun randomly.
And if they were to do it flat the way it should be, with everything orbiting each other and then orbiting each other and orbiting each other to make the galaxy, it's actually more chaotic. Right? They missed the trick there, man. Really.
Yeah.
But
and I mean, it doesn't even include the Oort cloud, which like almost makes the solar system a rough sphere. Yeah.
Right? It's hilarious. That one really gets me. I think a few of them like that, like the corruption of Mickelson Morley gets me too, because it's just so simple that any layman can read through and understand the result.
Yeah. It boggles my mind, because I've had a number of conversations with them where I read the experiment to them and I say, the results, the results of relative motion and ether are decidedly negative, and they're like, yeah, see, results on motion are negative, and I'm like, no, you took out half of the words.
Yeah. You can't omit the words you don't understand. It doesn't work that way.
It's like the word relative is so key there. Like, that's all they found, is that there's no significant link between the motion of the Earth and any potential ether.
Yes. Yeah. Right.
I have a serious question about the cosmos.
Go for it.
What do you think of astrology? I'm kidding.
Oh.
I almost couldn't even make it through that question. Sorry.
I'll say this about astrology. When you go way back to the point where there was no distinction between astronomy and astrology, I'm glad it at least got to the point where astronomy was able to break free and become something real.
Really? Yeah, I agree.
Right? Other than that, it's just, horrendous waste of newspaper that they could put something meaningful on there instead.
Like what Punchy said, astrology and phrenology are the only true sciences.
And I'm single again, everybody. How's it going? Oh, jeez. No, I mean, that was more of a joke than anything, but I think that there is something beautiful behind some of the mythological stories from our past that really help paint the picture of how beautiful the cosmos are, and that we did get things from it, like astronomy. And so, I think there is something to be said for that, for sure. Even though
that's a good question.
Yeah. From Electrum there.
Yeah, and
my sister.
I have a shout for it. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
He said, my sister's into astrology, but whenever I point out to her that it's BS, she says she doesn't take it seriously and that it's all just for fun. How do I get her to stop, or just let her?
Well, I would point out that over time, as the stars do actually move in the sky, the constellations are now in different positions. So how could there be any meaning to anything? And, we know due to the way they're moving now that the constellation of Leo is going to get all stretched out like he's being drawn and quartered. So is that going to have any effect? I mean, it's ridiculous, right?
He already told her that.
Yeah, but, the end result would be, as long as the person isn't planning their life around it and they just read it and go, oh, ha, 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 the power of suggestion in that moment, even though it exists, is very small. Is it harmful?
I'd say as long as they're not doing, like, I have an aunt who divorced her husband because a Ouija board told her to. As long as they're not going to that level, probably not a big deal.
That's unbelievable. Wow.
I know.
That's insane. I mean, like, for me, if my sister, which I have two sisters, one is very Christian, very involved in the church. How do I get her to stop? Well, I can't. She's going to have to figure things out on her own. I can tell her what I believe and share with her science and facts and all of those glorious things, but it's going to be up to her on what she believes. I just need to love her and let her figure it out. So that's what I do. But
Yeah.
my other sister's an atheist, so there's really nothing there I have to do.
Huh. Well, that goes around the whole circle, doesn't it? But yeah, I mean, and religion is one of those things where for a lot of people, it just leads them towards a good lifestyle. So, all right, job done. Good. But once you start getting to that argumentative, no, I'm going to teach the world that they're wrong point, and you're just holding up a book trying to claim the earth is flat, you got problems.
Right. For sure.
Absolutely. Oh, God. Somebody talk for like 10 seconds. I need to sneeze.
So this one time at band camp, no, I'm just kidding.
Well, now the question is, did he make it to a tissue in time, or is he having to go get one and clean his monitor? That's the real issue.
Oh, no. No.
I've worked at so many restaurants. I do this sneeze into your shoulder thing.
Ah, right. Well, it's better than the pizza, right? So
I actually didn't even end up sneezing. I just did that thing where I look like I'm going to sneeze for 5 seconds and then it goes away.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's the in-rem face where you just do that little. Somebody said something intelligent to me and I can't process, and then you go, no, I'm good.
Oh my.
Oh boy. Wow.
But he's amazing, that in-rem guy. Like, he just gets all wasted and just starts yelling at people. It's so funny. I love him.
He's a riot, yeah. He's a riot. I'm sorry, guys. I know I'm really quiet. I'm trying to keep my mouth close to the mic. It's the best I can do right now.
Yeah. We have to schedule this after we're done and do that whole session. We have to.
I agree.
For sure. Yeah.
I agree. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I don't know. What else did we want to talk about?
Well, if we're going along the lines of pseudoscience and space and how they tie together, there's a lot of angles.
Yeah. There is, yeah. Numerology.
Well, let's look at they always do the whole, oh, really? You feel like you're spinning at 1,000 miles an hour thing? The difference between one... Like if your car was idling at 1 RPM, that's called being off, right? I mean, it's not running, and that's revolution per minute.
Right.
We're talking about the Earth doing, yes, 1 per day, which means your clock's small hand has to do 2 full ones, right?
Yeah.
And when you scale is something they can't understand. Maybe would scale also then be something that leads them to believe that the vastness of the cosmos can't be real, and as such, it's easier to believe in like a dome and whatnot? Do you think that has a tie-in?
I think there is a factor to that, like, because you'll see them look at say images of nebulae from like the Hubble, and they'll say, oh, that's just NASA CGI crap. And I think it's because, they buy a cheap telescope and look at the sky for 30 seconds and they don't see a nebula, so they go, it's fake. And it's like, well, you're not willing to put in the effort to learn about exposure times, to learn about image stacking and processing, to learn how to properly take an image of a nebula. So it's easier for you to just think it's fake.
Yeah. Or even take it to a real basic. Like I remember as an adult getting my first telescope, and you get it out the box and you got yourself a decent tube with a, decent focal length and whatnot. Like you got some kit where you should see at least the basics of Saturn's rings, right?
Yeah.
So you set it up, you get yourself all ready. You usually get like a 20 eyepiece and a 10. So you figure out that the 20 eyepiece is nothing more than like a set of binoculars, but a nicer image. And then you put in the 10 and you go, oh, well, there's not much to see and do. I'm just seeing the moon better. And that's that. And you don't take the effort to learn that you can buy better eyepieces. You can buy more magnification. You can get a Barlow. You can, that's I guess that's par for the course with somebody who thinks they can just armchair their way through an argument that takes years of study and education.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
Tusk, I don't have a decent telescope right now, so I can't answer that. Maybe Dick can. He wants to know, is the Celestron Astromaster 130 EQ worth buying?
I have it. That is exactly the scope I have. And you definitely get a very good usable tool, but out the box, you're going to want a couple extra eyepieces and a Barlow, which magnifies like 2x, 3x the eyepiece to really, really get some unbelievable use out of it. But out the box, it kicks ass. The EQ mount has the little spot for the motors, so you can just sync the speed, and it's manual, but it works perfect. And I love it. For the price I paid, I got it. I think it was $299 on a Boxing Day sale a couple of about 5 years ago now, and it's awesome.
Wow, nice.
Yeah,
I think that's something I want to end up with as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Punchy. I love when they see an out of focus star and think it's the heavenly waters above.
Yeah, oh yeah,
And
yeah.
then he said it. I call it the Ass Master for short. And they were having a whole conversation a minute ago about how the new mini moon is my little toe.
Mm.
Yeah.
No,
Awesome.
I love the watery stars thing, because it's so great that it's just them looking at a star out of focus. And I remember the day I saw the perfect example of this was I was doing a video about telescopes specifically, and I saw, they may be in the chat, I know they're a fan, IB Hunter was taking an image of the Orion Nebula, and he starts by finding a star and focusing on it, and of course, before he focuses on that star, what's it look like? It looks like water. I'm like, well, there it is. There's everybody's out of focus stars, and then a couple seconds later, oh look, it's actually a star.
Yeah, right. And on that same evening, when you got like a star doing its little twinkly and whatnot, and you start calling, oh, it's water and stuff, really, then focus that damn thing on a planet and look at how nice and stable it is. Oh, gee, come on, really? I mean, you know, if you just observe for a little bit, you can even start to put things together enough that you can follow the breadcrumb trail to real information. I mean, you're on the internet, you're posting this garbage, just do it right.
Yep.
Oh wow, your review sold Tusk. He said he just bought it.
Perfect. And Tusk, when you get all set up and you're comfortable using it and everything's rocking, grab yourself a 2X Barlow, which will double the magnification of both your eyepieces, and then you'll really be off to the races, and you'll be all comfortable to use it. You'll get some really good stuff, and then you can start later on looking at, oh, well, maybe I'll buy myself this eyepiece or blah, blah, maybe a filter for, okay, perfect, he's got it, awesome, or she, I'm not even sure, sorry. And then you'll get into like a solar filter and a few things. And before you know it, holy, you're off to the races. It's just unbelievable. My son and I have the best time. It's so cool. It's awesome.
Yeah, I really need to get a decent setup for once the weather gets warmer, because I really want to start putting out some nice pictures myself.
I have a nice telescope on my Amazon wish list, and my birthday's in May, just saying.
Nice. Yeah, it's good. Next thing Felix and I are doing is getting an adapter for the eyepiece with a sensor in it, so that we can do long exposure and whatnot. And then we can go up into the hills. We can drape a big sheet across into some branches and take up a deep cycle battery in the projector and hook it all together. And you can have like a campfire with Saturn on your projector, right?
Yeah.
Come on.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
Right?
Really cool.
I need that in my life so badly.
I need that
have
too.
to have it.
Love that. Yeah.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Totally. But yeah, that's cool. This has already been very successful because we've helped somebody with a good purchase. Wow, I had no idea that was coming.
As far as I'm concerned, Celestron owes you $20.
Yeah, there you go, right? Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. Oh, look at that. I just got the email. Check's in the mail. Good. All right.
Sweet.
Pays to be a NASA shill, doesn't it?
Oh, jeez. That's been one of my favorite little skits to do on my channel, is every now and then talking on my NASA logo phone to Jim Bridenstine.
Yeah.
I haven't gotten a check yet. I feel very disappointed.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, it's probably an administration thing. I'm sure it's being processed.
Yeah. Amy, can you check on it for me? Thanks, hon.
Yeah, she has a direct line. We'll know for sure.
Matriarch knows all.
I love her.
Yeah, yeah. That's so funny. That guy, man. He's just the gift that keeps giving.
Oh yeah.
Holy.
He was something else.
Yeah, that was incredible. Let's see here. Pseudoscience and spacey stuff. I had another point I was going to bring up there as well. What was it? Shoot. Oh, the radiation, the belts, how we keep hearing that, nobody could get through. It's impossible and so on, and everything would die. And I mean, it's not like they get to a bad spot of the belts and then just hover for a year.
Right. I love the belts argument because I'm always like, oh, so you think the Van Allen belts exist? Okay, then Earth is a sphere.
Well, yes, exactly, right?
They go around the globe. It doesn't work on a flat Earth. And second, who told you the Van Allen belts exist? Oh, right, James Van Allen and the Army Ballistic Missile Agency, who would eventually become NASA.
Yep. And the whole thing, like the belts and everything, and the whole field structure wouldn't be there if there wasn't a north and a south pole.
Right.
Therefore, the flat model fails miserably. You can't have it.
Yeah, because I don't know what my next debate's going to be. I've told flat earthers I'm not going to debate them on like curvature and stuff like that anymore. I want them to first prove that space travel is fake. So I can't wait for the first one to bring up the Van Allen belts, so that I can say you're not allowed to believe in those.
Yes, exactly. I love it. I'm surprised that wasn't an angle for that guy, because he loved his magnetic arguments and stuff, right? I mean, he didn't know what he was talking about, but he sure loved them.
Yeah, he loved
Fuck that guy.
Hashtag fuck that guy.
Hashtag fuck that guy.
But yeah, he loved to talk about magnets, but always ignored how magnetic forces on Earth relate to poles, and how poles exist on spheres.
Yeah. And that one video he did where he said if you take two magnets that have a north and a south pole and stick them together, you haven't created one magnet with a north and a south pole. You still have two magnets with two norths and two souths.
Yeah.
Like, no, you don't. Like, have you never seen magnet? Can you just get yourself some iron filings and a sheet of paper, please? I mean, fuck.
Oh, yeah,
Damn it, because you could take 5 little magnets and stick them together, and you can watch those iron filings go into a one pole magnet field. Like, it will happen right in front of you, man. Just shut the fuck up and watch. Damn it.
TKG, space is fake is their weakest argument. They can't back it up. So all them images of Earth from space are therefore real. Well, yeah, but I'm going beyond just images of Earth from space. I'm talking about like when they go to bubbles on EVAs, or when they talk about harnesses and stuff like that. There's so much more to work with there, because it requires falling back on specific special effects knowledge, whereas like perspective arguments and curvature arguments and all that stuff, that all relies on math. I suck at math. I would much rather talk about how these are clearly not movie special effects.
Ooh. Let's talk math next time. That's my forte, for sure.
Yeah, I know. I'm nervous now.
We should get you debating a flat earther then, just in regards to math.
Yeah, maybe.
It's not real.
Math is not real.
That's what they end up with, right?
Genuinely, a lot of them say math is not reality, because they'll say shit like if I have 2 apples and you take 3, how many do I have left? Oh, look, math isn't real. And there's FTFE just going, yeah, you owe me 1 apple.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, one of the AB Science and I were having this conversation the other day about physics and learning physics and being able to debate flat earthers, and one of the topics was vector calculus. And I was saying to him, yeah, I know vector calculus. Who doesn't? Like everybody doesn't know what that is. Nobody does. It's like
half of that room was like, we don't.
It's like AB and I were on the same page and speaking the same language, and everybody's going around like, "What in the world are y'all talking about?" So, I think doing math, a math conversation, and breaking down science from the math perspective would be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I mean, let's just go to E equals MC squared. You've got such a tiny little equation that unlocks so much. How can that not just be unbelievably cool?
Yeah. One of the things that actually Dead Kennedy and I were talking about it's been a few months back, we were talking about rocket equations, and I told him I was going to look at one and try to reverse engineer it and break it down for him. I don't know that I ever did that, so I might need to get back to trying to do that.
I think it was the what's his name's rocket equation, like delta V and all of that.
Yes. So it was actually on my whiteboard at work, but then I moved. So I need to pull it back up, put it on my new whiteboard, and start working on it for you. I'll make that a priority in the next few weeks.
See that post there from Colin?
I'll read that in a second. I was more cracking up at this one a little further up, where someone just said, "Is math related to science?" That's a reference to something. I'll explain it in a second. Jokely is about to go live and have a go at Slice Barcane. This should be an ad hominem attack with no evidence. I believe so. I believe you are correct in that, Colon.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it will be awful.
Is math related to science? That's a thing from Katy Perry at some point sat down with Neil deGrasse Tyson. And I can't remember why exactly, but she was asking him questions about science. And in the middle of explaining something, she goes, "Is math related to science?" And the look on Tyson's face is one of the funniest things I've ever seen. Just like 5 seconds of him trying to work out how to answer that exactly.
Yeah. He's just, in his mind, it was just, how has this twit become the person she is? Holy fuck.
It's really incredible stuff. Conspiracies.
Well, did you see that
with Katy Perry? Have you noticed that? She comes up a lot. Like
she's something else.
Well, I've seen her come up. She came up in an ODD TV video because she did a concert that was like space themed, where she like came in on wires in an astronaut suit and everything. And I was like, really? You're going to tell us like Katy Perry's brainwashing us to believe in space? Come on, man. And there's another video they love to go nuts at, where she was sick or the weather was bad or something, and she briefly fainted on stage, and they think that before she faints, she says, "Master, I don't feel so well," indicating that she's under some kind of mind control. And they always neglect to mention where she's playing that day. She's playing in Tennessee, in the city of Nashville. So it's almost definite that she just said, "Nashville, I don't feel so well," speaking to the audience, and then fainted.
Yes. Right.
Okay, then.
Jeez.
So, Electrum, let's give props to Katy Perry. She's got it going in other places. So, is it her mediocre voice? Because she sounds like every other pop star on the planet.
That winky face is not what he...
I understand what he's trying to say. I'm just saying, she's not that great.
I don't find her very attractive, and I find her singing to be, just like you said, completely lost in the shuffle. There's no identity there at all. It's just, she was taught how to do the basic pop vocal and just ran with it, and God.
No, it's not her enormous boobs, because she doesn't have those.
That is what it is. She I'm going to disagree with Punchy and say they're not enormous boobs. They're great boobs is what they are.
Oh my gosh.
And she wears outfits that work very well with them.
Okay, well,
she's orphan red of the music industry is what we've reduced this to. Okay, at least I get it now.
Yeah, I'm good with that. The orphan red of the music industry.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, yeah. Instead of super chat, she sells it for ticket sales. I get it. That's all good. Okay.
Oh, my Atlanta. Oh, my Atlanta. I can't with y'all anymore. I quit.
Okay, here, when it comes to Woo, did anybody here catch that series that, what's her name? Fox, the bimbo from the first Transformers movies?
Megan Fox.
That's
Did you
it.
know Megan Fox went to elementary school with me and my sisters?
Really?
Well,
Yes.
this is not going to speak well of the school you went to, what I'm about to say.
Hey,
Sorry.
hey.
But she did a 7-part TV show, Mysteries of the Lost or some BS. And she was literally just running around interviewing people from Ancient Aliens, talking rubbish and stuff. It was unbelievable. It sucked so bad.
She's not the sharpest tool in the shed, but one of my best friends that I grew up with is her first cousin. So I've met her a dozen times at least.
Okay.
And she is not the sharpest tool in the shed. She's very pretty, very beautiful.
Well, she's the classic example of you were told you were pretty all your life, so you never made an effort and you're dumber than a fucking stump. Like,
Yes. Like there is no conversation there because my brain works so differently than her. So it's just.
Well, it works. I mean, that right there
my
says
brain
it all.
works, but yeah, I've met her. I've met her at least a handful to a dozen times, I would say, growing up, because she literally is the first cousin of one of my best friends. So birthday parties, things like that. And we had zero in common. I was the little nerdy girl who wanted to do math and, do stuff like that. And she was like dressing up, looking like a 20-year-old at 10. So we were just different people.
Did you see the newest couple of Jumanji movies? You would be the redheaded chick when they're younger, and she would be the blonde.
Yes.
There's only one Jumanji movie that matters.
Yes, I agree.
I agree there, but the way they did put the people in other bodies did create some seriously hilarious stuff. It's quite an empty little, it's basically Final Fantasy in movie form type weirdness, but there was some funny parts to it. But yeah, it kind of sucks,
I get it. Yeah.
I'll be honest. I'm willing to watch anything with The Rock in it because I think he's incredibly entertaining. I don't think
he's very entertaining.
I don't think he's that great of an actor, but he's interesting. He's fun to watch.
Yeah.
You know who my favorite actor is? And it's a classic actor. It's John Cusack. Like, I love his 80s movies. Say Anything was great.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I just love him. I don't know why, but I do. I love him.
He's pretty much he's one of those actors who you can't really say a bad thing about. Like, he's never had a role where he's done terribly.
Right.
No, even in 2012 or whatever that movie was, the Destruction of the World thing.
It was just a stupid movie.
Yeah, the movie was horrible, but he still did his part. It's funny, but it's true.
Yep.
Yep,
and I also love Jared Leto.
Who's that again?
He was Joker in Suicide Squad.
Yeah, that's why I forgot who he was.
It's not necessarily his most memorable role, but I've liked him in other things. I liked him in Requiem for a Dream.
Requiem for a Dream is a great movie.
That's a really
and he
good
did
movie.
a great job. But he also did really, really good in what's that one? The Dallas Buyers Club. Yeah, where he was he was a transsexual he did great.
Yeah.
Like, absolutely phenomenal performance. He also is, of course, the lead singer of the band 30 Seconds to Mars.
Right.
His voice is amazing.
He's a good singer for sure.
And of course, Jordan Catalano, My So-Called Life. That was popular when literally I was a freshman in high school. So all the girls had a crush on him. So that kind of stuck with me too.
For some reason, whenever I think of Jared Leto, my mind immediately goes to him in Fight Club.
Yeah.
He has the best role in that where I forget who it is, but I think it's one of the new recruits for the little organization is like yelling at recruits who want to join. They're standing there on the porch, and he's yelling at Meatloaf, and he's going, "You're too fat and your tits are too big." And then he turns to Jared Leto and he goes, "And you're too fucking blonde."
What happens in Fight Club stays in Fight Club. I haven't seen that movie in forever.
I haven't seen it in a long time.
It's
either. I fucking
it's
love
one
that
of the
movie,
few movies in life you wish you could rewatch for the first time because you
Oh,
can never
God.
make it as good as the first time.
though. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's
now
it.
I
Yeah,
really
no.
want to watch Requiem for a Dream and then Donnie Darko. I don't know why those go together for me, but they do.
Yeah, that's a good one.
those are both good
Butterfly
movies.
Effect and The Game are two that you wish you could rewatch again too.
Yeah.
I never saw The Game. I did see Butterfly Effect though.
Oh,
How long
it's
was that?
good.
I like that one.
That had me
did you
like
say, Dick, you've never seen Requiem for a Dream?
No.
Oh man, it's
so
excellent.
good.
It's like the ultimate art house drug addiction movie. It's
Yeah.
about 4 people in Brooklyn, I think, who are all like addicted to different things. Like 3 of them are addicted to heroin, but the 4th one is addicted to diet pills, and it gets really off the walls.
It's so good. It is such a good movie.
Mm-hmm.
Easily in my top 10, probably.
And has a soundtrack that you have heard before. I guarantee it.
Oh, for sure.
It's been
For
everywhere.
sure.
I guess
Now I
it
wanna
is
watch
on addiction
that.
in general, but now that I think about it, there's really only two. There's only
It sounds-
2 substances in it, right?
Yeah.
Sounds like Train Spotting in the Bronx.
It's very similar to Trainspotting. It's like an
It's
American
very
Trainspotting.
similar. Very much so, yeah.
I haven't seen that one yet either.
You haven't seen Train Spotting?
No, I've got a big list of movies that people go, really? You haven't watched that? Like I always get in trouble when it comes to this conversation. Like,
haven't-
it always happens.
Jen's put in there the new Donnie Darko is really bad. I've seen so the original Donnie Darko was fabulous.
Yes.
Absolutely wonderful.
Are they
But-
referring to the
Nah.
sequel about his sister?
Yeah. I think
Yeah,
so.
that one's not very good.
I haven't seen it, so I can't judge it. But the first one was absolutely wonderful. I want to watch it on repeat. I love that movie.
It's actually one of my favorite movies of all time.
Me too.
I've got it in my
For sure.
collection, but I don't think I've watched it. I can't remember it at all. But I just looked, and it's on one of my drives.
It's really good.
1980, well, set in 1989, made in the early 2000s. Jake Gyllenhaal keeps he keeps hallucinating this like guy in a creepy bunny suit
Yep.
who tells him that the world's going to end in a month, and
Yep.
he keeps having all these crazy dreams, and it keeps telling him to do things, and then time travel gets woven in. There's so many layers to that movie.
That was one of
I
Jake
have not
Gyllenhaal's
watched
best
that yet.
performances.
Oh God, okay, I gotta watch this. I haven't seen
Yeah,
that yet.
it's really good. Really good.
Anybody here ever see the movie The Man from Earth?
That rings a bell.
It's an independent, low-budget movie where a dude who's like, I don't know, a teacher or some shit is having like a little get-together party because he's moving and, everybody wants to say bye. And it's basically just like a conversation of events and it's unbelievable. Yeah, Vishanti's seen it. It's fucking unbelievable. It's must watch for anybody that's watching this stream because you will dig it.
The Man from Earth.
Yeah, it's
Oh, boy.
freaking amazingly
I'll look it up.
amazing. It's unbelievable. It's so good. It's
Electron,
It's-
you might be about to hate me, but I have a response to what you just said. Sorry, go ahead.
no, give her, because yeah, that's on track. Got to hear this.
They said one of the most underrated movies I've ever seen is The Invention of Lying. This is a really unpopular opinion to have because it was a pretty well-liked movie. The Invention of Lying is the only movie I walked out of. It's literally the only movie I walked out of. And I enjoyed it for what it was. At first, like, I went to see it in the theater, and I was like, okay, I get it. Nobody's ever lied before, so everyone's, like, super innocent. But then I was like, wait, this isn't making sense to me because it's not nobody's ever lied before. It's everybody walks up to everybody and says the first thing that's on their mind immediately, which is different than nobody having lied.
Right.
Yeah.
And it was like that was the joke for probably 2/3 of the movie, and then it went into this whole thing where he invents the myth of Jesus, and I was like, all right, I've had enough.
Well, yeah.
Go
So,
ahead.
so some of my
Go ahead.
favorite movies are also like, of course, the Kevin Smith movies, and then you've got Clerks. and then you've got Chasing Amy, and all of those movies that are Mallrats. Love those.
The View Universe movies.
Yes.
They're great.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love those. The Never Ending Story is one of my all-time favorites. The Goonies is one of my all-time favorites. Weird Science.
Did you bring up the Never Ending Story because of what Punchy said?
No, I'm not even looking at the chat. I was looking at the green room.
Oh,
He said he walked out of the Never Ending Story when it ended. It was flagrant false advertising.
No, I wasn't even looking at the chat. I was looking at the green room.
that's another I haven't seen.
Never Ending
Great
Story?
minds.
That one's really good.
Okay.
Really good.
Dick Dawson is fired from the Shills until he watches the Never Ending Story. I'm making an executive decision.
I get in shit for never watching. I haven't watched. What's the other one you guys always razz me about? Something to do with a princess. Fucking.
Oh, Princess Bride.
Yeah, I haven't seen that either.
No, oh my gosh, no. Marriage.
Why? When The Princess Bride was released, I had a doobie hanging out of my mouth and a guitar slung over my shoulder. Why in hell would I even be interested in a movie titled The Princess Bride? Makes no sense, man.
It's such a good movie.
It's like,
but
it's just the worst title because it sounds like a romantic drama made specifically for women, but it's not.
I'm sitting here shaking my head like you can see me, Robert Adset, but real genius, fucking phenomenal. Agree with you.
Yeah, see, when I hear the title of the movie, all I see is like Meg Ryan in a house coat crying on the couch with tissue or something. Fuck.
No,
that's what it sounds like. I know, but
no, there's like the Swamp Rats, and then there's Andre the Giant is in this movie, and yeah, like there's a sword fight.
And he's an actor worth seeing. You're not selling it here.
Punchy said Daniel Pratt was in the Goonies.
Oh no,
he was. Yeah. What's his name there? Right?
No.
Now I've seen the Goonies, man. I like that very much.
I love the
Indiana
Goonies.
Jones for kids, right? That's amazing.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Shit, I was gonna mention another one. That had like a really bad title. Oh no, what you reminded me of there, like your story of like where you were in life when Princess Bride came out, so it just wasn't for you. There was a guy. There's a channel I love called Rooster Teeth.
Shut up and take my money.
Thanks, Barman. The Princess Bride is awesome for £2. Thanks, man.
2 monetary units from your country.
2 monetary units from your country. But damn it, I'll get to that in a moment, John. The head of this company, Rooster Teeth, he never watched Titanic, and his wife forced him to watch it in like 2012. And
shut up and take my money.
She turns on the camera as the credits are rolling, and he's sitting in the chair crying. And she goes, "What's wrong, Jeff? What's wrong? You'd never seen Titanic before, right? Because you were the cool guy who was too cool to see Titanic." And he just looks at her crying, and he goes, "He was waiting for her at the top of the stairs."
Okay, John Rapp for 5 Australian. All right, who's making all the noise this early on a Monday morning? Kevin. Oh, all right, I'm up. Flat white with 2 P's, 4K. Well, good day, mate.
Good on you.
Good on you, mate. Well, whatever.
Much
It
appreciated,
reads
John.
the same.
Oh, that's funny.
Oh boy. Well, we're descending into whatever we wanted to talk about here, but we've hit the 90-minute mark. I think this is
One sec. On Titanic, it's so hilarious that dude just broke down like that, because my reaction to that movie was completely different. As all the drama and the actions unfolding and the ships finally starting to sink and whatnot, I sat there the whole time going, the old lady's telling us the story, so obviously he dies, she lives, the end, and I know the boat sinks, so this just fucking sucks.
It was a little hard to get invested in a true story.
Yeah, especially one that's been so overdone and told. Like, come on.
Oh, yeah. That same year, there was a TV movie called Titanic that came out that people say, if you set aside the production value, is better.
I've seen the old version of the Titanic movie, and if if you're somebody that doesn't have to have the flash depth of color modern film is bringing, it's awesome. Very much.
Barry on said he felt so sorry for the poor iceberg. I agree.
I like how all iterations of the Titanic movie prior to the mid 80s show it sinking in one piece, because nobody knew for sure that it had actually broken half.
Yeah.
And
that's true.
There's an amazing clip. This clip has stuck in my memory for some reason. There was a woman who was interviewed. She was like 9 years old when the Titanic sank, and she talks about how she was called a liar for years because she said it broke in half and nobody believed her. And then they find the wreck in the 80s and they're like, oh, well, you're right, it did break in half. And she goes, well, I know she did. I saw her.
I've been telling you for years, morons.
Oh my gosh.
That's funny.
But yeah, I think we've done good here. We talked about space for a while and we talked about movies for a while.
Which is appropriate given you do the movie thing with your buddies there. It actually works.
Yeah.
I'm so proud of you again. I just love you to death and am excited to continue to see you grow and do your thing. You're really good at it, so keep doing it.
Thank you. I'm excited for year 2 with this channel to see where it goes, because it started out pretty much purely anti-flat Earth and can't keep doing that all day.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, I'd like to say that it's about time you admitted that you're really Eric Dubé sock account, and I think it's going to be interesting to see going forward who continues to watch and suck it up. I think it's great.
I think you need to wrap us out of the stream.
I literally cannot rap. MC Toon is the worst rapper in the world, but I just plain can't do it. I am too white for that noise.
I tried, y'all.
I was just going to say, I'm way too pasty to give you a beatbox, so I got nothing.
I tried, viewers. I tried.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you to everyone who's saying congratulations in the chat. I appreciate that, guys. Well, with that, does anybody have any other last words before we get out of here?
Just, I love you. Keep doing it.
Oh, thank you.
It's really flat and you're all stupid.
All right. Well, with that, I will see you over the curve, Space